Welcome to the King and Chapman Show. I am Brent, and with me is the original Fab One, Jimmy King. What's up, bro?
What up? I'm putting on the crown like LBJ,
I like it.
except
I
for I'm
like
not
it.
fishing.
So, Jimmy, this is a chaotic start to the show. You were on an airplane and
Yes.
landed and ran so that we could get this out tonight. So, tell me, Jimmy, what is it like being 6 million like you are on an airplane?
It's great as long as you're in first class. If you're not in
Okay,
first
yeah.
class, then your knees are on fire. Your
In
knees are on
first
fire and
class,
you suffer. So it's imperative to hopefully get business class or first class or something. I need the room.
and you also have now they've got in like the first row, they've got like a little extended room, and if you're
Mhm,
in the emergency row, there's a little extended room.
mhm.
Because I'm 6'3", not as tall as you, Jimmy, but I like to have those areas where I have a little bit extra room. And I don't
Absolutely.
I don't fly first class unless somebody else is paying for it.
Well, I got a lot of frequent flyer miles, so I just keep
Yes.
rolling them over, roll them over,
That
roll them over.
so you were in New York, is that where you were?
Yeah, I was in New York City out there with Mocha Moto, who is a new um, minority-owned holding company for media. And Eric Miller, who's a high school friend of mine, well, longer than that, childhood friend of mine, um, who is a partner in the company, brought me on as a guest speaker.
That's awesome. And it was good. Did you get a lot of good questions?
Really, I just talked about myself in the company. I get the lob, it's like basketball. They just throw me the oop. I don't have to sit out there and really like write anything or think of anything really super creative. I just got to tell my story and how it connects to technology through my company, True Champions. So,
And that's awesome. Yeah, what you're doing with True Champions is awesome. And as you know, and many people know, I've been a tech executive myself, and so it's cool that you're involved in helping out kids and doing that technology stuff. So that's awesome. Well, thanks for rushing from the airport to getting to be on with us. We
of
appreciate
course,
that. I mean, there's no King and Chapman show without the King. No,
that's right. That's why I
nobody's
had to put on the crown. I had to
listen,
put on my
bro.
crown.
Listen, bro, nobody's watching the Chapman show. This is a certain this is
I'll
a
watch the
certain thing.
Chapman show, my brother.
Well, okay, well, then we would have one one viewer. All right. So, well, Jimmy, we have a lot to talk about in the sports world. We're passing. We got a little football today, but mostly we are focused on your bread and butter, the NBA playoffs. Nate, hit that. We've got to talk about the Boston Celtics. They won the series 4-0 against the Heat. No magic, no Cinderella slipper this year. In fact, Jimmy, in the 4 wins of the series, the Celtics trailed for 56 seconds the entire series. Less
well,
than 1 minute. Are
well,
the Celtics the team to beat this year, Jimmy?
well. In the Eastern Conference, they are. They're
Okay.
definitely the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. I think they learned from their mistakes. I think one of the players mentioned that in the article that they learned from last year, Miami being an eighth seed, knocking them out, and they didn't want to repeat that. So it's great for them to come back, get a victory, get the gentleman's sweep, 4-1, and the Miami Heat is out there with your boy LeBron.
They are. They are. He is sitting that Jimmy Butler is at home. He was at home anyways because he was hurt, but now he is definitely at home for the rest of the year. But Jimmy, the Celtics, I think you bring that up. It's important is do do teams really learn from their mistakes like that? Is that possible where a unit, because they play so many games. They play 82 games and then they play whatever another 20 or 30 probably last year the Celtics did in their run up to game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Do these do the or does this actually matter what happened last year? Does that actually in their conscious and actually help them prepare in situations like this?
Definitely. Hopefully, through over the summertime, early in the season, they corrected those things that got them put out early last year. And I think, it from what we could tell of, them winning the series, it worked. And to answer your question, yes, players want to get better, and hopefully you have an organization, a coach, a culture that allows players to grow and to learn, and give them that space to learn from their mistakes. A lot of times you see teams who, you know they don't learn from their mistakes, they progressively get worse. So yeah, I think the Celtics are on a mission. They're one of the better teams. They have some of the best talent in the league. So we'll see if their focus stays, you know, if they stay laser focused the way they need to actually win the championship. It's
The
yet to
reason
be.
I bring that up is because I see this a lot, right, in the NFL, right? I mean, it's like every year, what the Bills have lost to the Chiefs 3 of the last 4 years, right? Some of these teams, the Cowboys have lost to the Niners the last 2 years. It's like you're not it feels like they're not like you think if you lost once or twice, maybe you would be really keyed in and be thinking about how to not let that happen again. So I see a lot that it doesn't, that they just come and they play the game. What you're saying is, especially in this situation, that that's not exactly true, that they are keenly aware of what happened last year and why that happened, and they've made those corrections as to not let that happen again.
And football is drastically different than basketball in the sense that, like, in the playoffs, um, uh, in the NBA, you have a series, so the best team typically wins. In the NFL, it's one and done. The best team doesn't always win, and rarely do you get teams that advance that aren't better than the team that they beat in the NBA. So the best team usually wins, 4 out of 7 game series.
Yeah, that is true. When you're playing multiple games like that, the whole point of it is to get the best team, right? That's why in a one game situation
Most
like you're
favorite.
right in the NFL, guy could have a bad game, guy could not feel well, and
Mhm.
that can have a big impact on the outcome. So talking about teams that are winning, let's talk about our team here where we live, Jimmy, in the big D, Dallas Fort Worth. Woo! Luka had a game. He's banged up. He's got a knee. He's got a wrist. He had a cold. He had all these things. Well, I didn't know that. And it certainly didn't look like he was having any problems the other night. It was his fifth 30-point 10 assist performance in the postseason. All right, just to give some context to that, um, that's only ever happened twice for the Mavericks, and Steve Nash and Mark Aguirre were the two that did that. Other than that, never. And he's already at 5, and he's like what, a few years in right now.
Oh yeah, Luka
Do
is that
you?
guy. That's why they call him Luka Magic,
Yeah, that's
right?
right.
He's
Do
sprinkling the magic around, making his teammates better, and it doesn't help that he has a great guy, or one of the greatest guards in the game, in Kyrie Irving.
Do you
Um,
think that do you think that this is, I mean, I asked you on the last show, hey, does that 31-point comeback that they made and then lost, does that hurt them or help them? You said it helped them and you were right. Right? They came out and they dominated this game. So, do you think they close this out in game 6 in Dallas,
I do.
or
I think
you
I think Dallas is going for the upset. I think they don't want to go back. Obviously, want to go back to LA and give them a chance. It's hard to win on the road, especially in the playoffs. And I
And
think that
Kawhi Leonard is out for game 6,
they,
but could be back for game 7. You don't want to
right,
deal with that.
definitely. So you definitely want to handle business, get them out of the way, and make sure that you advance in the playoffs because it's a once in a lifetime thing. But again, just kind of like how Boston is focused from what happened to them last year. I also think the Mavericks are too. I think they want to advance. I think they want to show that they belong, and they're better than what people expect or think, even at this late stage in the game.
Well, they had that improbable sort of run to the championship series 2 years ago. And then last year, Kyrie came in, didn't really gel. They kind of tanked, and I think some of it intentionally the end of the season and didn't even make the playoffs. Right.
Not the
And so
tanking.
they just like, hey, we're not going to play anyone the last 4 games. Yeah, that's tanking. Uh, so and now they're back and they're playing very well. And I know you've got some really good teams in the West. We've talked about SGA and the Thunder. Dude, Ant Edwards is doing some crazy stuff with the Timberwolves. And then, of course, you've got the Joker and you've got Jamal Murray. And then you got, if they can steal this, Luka and Kyrie. I mean, this is stacking up to be a very awesome semifinals in the
It
West.
is, and if you're a basketball fan like I am, this is what you hope for. Excuse me, I just want to see great basketball. I don't have a pony in the show. I don't care who wins. I'm not a fan of anyone particularly, but I just love seeing great basketball, competitive basketball, and high level. At a high level. So that's all I'm anxious to see with all these great players playing in the playoffs right now. It's great for must see TV, and I hope that it's not disappointing. I hope there are no more injuries. I hope we get the full gamut of the show of these awesome talents of these guys.
It is great to watch them. And when you get, because you got young teams, you got up and coming teams, you got these, it's just really, you got older guys and more experienced teams. It's been really great. Nate, hit that. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the Bucks. And this was meant to be about game 4, which is, the Pacers played the Bucks. The Bucks didn't have Dame. They didn't have Giannis, and the Pacers lost. So I want to talk about, did the Pacers lose that game or did the Bucks win? And just because of your plane flight, Jimmy, the Bucks actually have lost the series to the Pacers while you were on the airplane. So the Pacers win the series and they smoked them tonight, 120-98. It wasn't even close. Dame was back. Giannis was out. But, let's talk about that first game 5. Did the Pacers lose that? And what about the Bucks, dude? Losing the 3 seed, losing to the 6 seed. I mean, that's tough.
Well, injury is a part of the game, and when you got two of your major, cogs in the system out, you're going to lose. I mean, it's hard to make up for superstars like Giannis, and Dame Dollar. Like they're too that production is too high for, say, a committee of guys to come in and make that up consistently. You might be able to do it for a game like Miami did and shock Boston and win a game. You might win a game or two, maybe. But yeah, it's just, at this stage in the game, you 82 plus games plus, a few more in the playoffs. These guys are well oiled. And so if you take any one of those two major cogs out of your team or out of the game, they're not available, you're going to struggle. So it's not a surprise to me.
Before we launched the show, Jimmy, we did some, shorts and stuff. And one of the shorts that I did with my youngest son was about who was going to win the NBA playoffs. And he said that he thought the Bucks would win the playoffs because of Giannis and Dame.
Yes.
And here's why that's so important. They didn't play 3 games in the series. So, to your point, you can't, when your whole team is on 2 studs and they're very good and they'll probably be in the finals next year, the Eastern Conference Finals, right? But this was not their year. And, they're done and the Pacers move on. And I'm sure we'll talk about this as we move into the next round of the playoffs. But I think the Pacers get the Knicks next. We'll have to look into that more detail and talk about the next series. But I don't know. The Pacers don't look very good to me. And oh no, they're gonna have to play the Celtics, aren't they? Oh yeah, they're toast.
You just got to win,
They're
whether it looks good or not.
They're
Whether
toast,
whether it's aesthetically pleasing or not, you just got to win, baby, win.
Now, Jimmy, this is my favorite topic of the show. Hit that, Nate. I want to talk about Tyrese Maxey. So, I was watching this game with both my sons. One is 13 and one is 8, and we were like, "All right, we're watching the game. After the game, you guys got to go to bed. We're watching the game." It's that foul. They make a shot, foul. They make a shot, and I think with with 23 seconds left, they hit a 3. The Knicks hit a 3, and we're like, it's over. We turned off the TV. We walked away. Mm-hmm. So I didn't actually see this because I thought the game was over, and I was putting my kids to bed. What ended up happening, Jimmy, was that with about 25 seconds to go, Tyrese Maxey hit a 3-pointer to tie the game. There he is. And I don't know if we have the video of this. We got to get video.
Look at that Dallas native. Speaking of Dallas, that's a Dallas kid right there.
I did not know that. That's awesome. So
represent.
And I don't know that we have the video. Nate, we need to get video for these things. But so he took 4 steps as his game-winning 3-pointer, and they're saying, is that a travel? So I'm curious. Let's say he took 4 steps. Do you call it right there as a game-winning shot?
Yes. No. You have to call the game to the letter that it's supposed to be played.
No.
Okay. Point. What is the point of having traveling if you're just going to take 4 steps?
Dude, that travel was so innocuous. It was not egregious. He didn't walk. He took a little extra. I mean,
how many steps did he take, B?
1 extra.
How many steps did he take? You said 4, right?
I think he took 4.
Okay. I'll give you 3 steps as a pro because that's normal, but not 4. I'll give you 2.5 because the law is, or the letter is 2.5. You get 2.5 steps. Right?
It was so innocuous. It was in a critical moment of the game. I don't think it changed it. I don't think that extra step gave him the opportunity to make that shot or not. He buried it. They won.
This is my point, right? Just stay consistent in the calls, so we won't even be debating this because we'll just be like, he traveled. It was an obvious travel that they didn't call. Now, to answer that question, right, then you have to let it go. If it's game time and it's innocuous and it's not like like he didn't drag the 3rd step longer or anything like that, then maybe you let it go because it's a professional game. It's game time. That's what the fans want to see. But the problem I have with it is throughout the season, they don't make these traveling calls. It's like over the past maybe 5 years, it's been egregious for players to take these extra steps, particularly LeBron.
Yeah, he's the worst. There was one.
I think that's why they do it too. I think that's why they get away with it.
Jimmy, in our next show at Bro Time, I'm going to make sure they get some video, and I'm going to show you the Rudy Gobert 7-step dunk that he took.
That's
He
wild.
literally caught the ball at the 3-point line, dribbled, took a few
That's
steps,
wild.
stopped, realized he picked up his dribble, and kept walking and dunked the ball. And the players were standing like this, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. Let's
Right?
go."
Isn't that a travel? We know that's a travel. You know,
Yeah, everyone in the
I,
stadium
I,
knew it was a travel.
I think as a player, if I was playing today, I would probably appreciate it because I can't
I don't get that.
imagine being able to use the Euro step and not get called for traveling. There's no way you could get. There's no way people can stop you. Your defender, your opponent, is impossible. They could barely touch you, and you get an extra step and a half. Come on.
What I don't think, Jimmy, is in a moment like that, at the end of the game, when you were down 6 and half the people watching were putting their kids to bed because they thought it was over, just like me, uh, you make a shot like that. You can't. Can you
That's
imagine? Can you imagine he buries that shot and they go,
yes, I can. You know why? Because they did it to us. Okay,
well, that
let me
was
tell 30
you
years
guys
ago.
were
30,
different.
30
We're out
years
to get
ago,
you
30 years ago,
guys.
anybody, MJ couldn't make that move. He would have got called for traveling.
Okay. Okay, we'll agree to disagree on this. I think you got to swallow that whistle. All right, now
You
we're
know
going to
what?
move on.
I'm messing with you, B. Really, I agree. I think when the game is on the line, if it's not egregious, it's
You got to let them play.
it's part of the game actually.
That's why I don't think you should call pass interference at at a play at the end of the game when they're throwing it up. You don't call pass interference on that unless it's really egregious.
Right,
Right.
right,
And Greg's like, you can't do that. You can't let the game be decided that way. So
yeah.
now we are going to have a football topic here. Ezekiel Elliott is back in Dallas.
One of my
Listen to this.
favorite, yeah, one of my
Yes.
favorite Buckeyes is coming back. I got a couple Buckeye friends. Let
Jimmy,
it be
should I
known.
roll up? Should I roll up my shirt into like a midriff just for
Um,
Zeke?
hey, only if you got Zeke abs. If
I
you don't, go ahead and just
well,
wear a fur
I
coat.
have one ab, and it's very round. It's like, it's one big round ab.
It's like a keg. You got a keg.
It's a
A
keg. I got a
kegger.
keg. I do not
All
have a
right,
six
cool.
pack. I
I'll
have a
roll with
keg.
that.
I
We'll
I
bring
have
out the kegs.
I have
For
not
Zeke.
been keeping up this physique. So Ezekiel Elliott, as you know, spent 7 years with the Cowboys, right? And he's the third all-time rusher behind Emmett and Tony Dorsett, two greats, right? 8,200 yards, 68 touchdowns. He had a career here. They kind of dismissed him, let him go. He went to the Patriots for a year. I didn't actually know this. I had to look this up. He led the Patriots in rushing last year,
Mhm.
which is surprising to me. It was only 642 yards, and he hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game since he was with the Cowboys.
Mhm.
But he's back. Do you think he has anything left in the tank, or is this just he's hit that 30 years old, he's done, and he's just kind of like riding it out, going to be like kind of like a specialty guy, or do you think he
Yeah,
makes an impact?
I think they're going to scheme him in. I don't think they're going to rely on him like they did the first 7 years of his
Yeah.
career. I think they would probably use him out on the edge or swing him out in the flat a little bit and let him get his yards after catches, and maybe use him sparingly for special
Some
downs.
goal line stuff,
Yeah,
maybe.
like maybe as a decoy. I don't really see him as like being the guy. I think if I'm not mistaken, they just drafted a running back either last year or this year, the Cowboys. Um, but I I think they'll use him, and I think they know how to use him now, and especially allowing him to go to New England and being the leading rusher in that system, and with kind of a constricted offense. Um, I think they see a way for him to fit and to utilize him better here in Dallas now.
Do you think that this move has something or maybe even more to do with not exactly what he's going to produce on the field, but what he's going to add in the locker room and with team chemistry? I've been around Zeke and Dak and those guys in the line when they're all together hanging out, and he's
Mm-hmm.
part of that. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a fun guy. He's out. He knows they like him. He gets along with them. They enjoy him. I'm wondering if some of this is about bringing him back in to that locker room as a leader on the team to help the younger guys. And I'm sure they wouldn't bring him if he couldn't produce on the field, which I'm sure he proved that he could still do some stuff last year. Right. Do you think that's part of it too? Is not just football. Hey, this guy fills a football need, but this guy fills a team need, a leadership need on our team.
Absolutely. That's why I think they see that and they're bringing them back for that reason, particularly to to help enhance the offense, but to also be that figure in the locker room that people can look to. He's a veteran. Um, he's been here. He's only been gone for a year, so really it's like he never left. Uh, he'll fit right in the system. I think the expectations coming into this year with bringing Zeke back, I think that tells you what they expect to do this year or what the expectations are. Now I know their expectations is to go to the Super Bowl every year, but I think this year is really a telltale sign for Dak particularly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you're right. I didn't. I mean, it kind of makes sense as, bring somebody back that Dak has a good relationship with, right? And
Make
that
them comfortable.
make him feel comfortable again. And you never know. I'm writing Zeke off as far as making really any contribution, but you never know, dude. You brought up a really good point
He
that
might
I
have a
didn't.
game or two. He might have
It
a
might even be more than
throwback.
that, dude. He had a very long, good career and has only been gone a year. It isn't like this is 4 years later or something. This is 1 year. He could
Correct.
come back refreshed, new legs, injury free, and we don't know. He could have a breakout moment, which would be really great for
Exactly.
the team. But we're gonna move on from Zeke and we're gonna talk about Coach
Prime
Plum.
time. My God, prime.
So I'll explain this, and I can't wait to hear. There he is, my guy. So Deion Sanders and his son, who is the quarterback at University of Colorado, Shadur Sanders, they were getting into it with people on social media. All right. So a former safety told The Athletic that Deion Sanders never even tried to get to know me, and he destroys guys' confidence and belief in themselves and tears them down and doesn't build them up. And Shadur Sanders, we should get him on the show because he was broing in this article. He said he didn't even remember this kid and said, "Bro, this is a quote. Bro had to be mid at best." Now, you could translate that for me, Jimmy,
Well,
but I'm
damn.
pretty sure it means he isn't very good.
Well, or he just didn't like him, something. I mean, uh, it's hard to like not remember your teammates. I mean, I know it's a lot of guys on the football team, but I mean, you spend a whole year with them.
So that tweet led to Xavier Ward's career stats of 36 tackles in 3 seasons to be posted, in which Deion Sanders wrote back, tweeted, "Oh Lord, LAWD. Oh Lord, how do I say that? Is that right?
Oh
Oh Lord,
Lord.
Lord
Oh
Jesus.
Lord. Good Lord.
Lord Jesus," is what Deion said. Which is funny is because him ripping on an unknown FCS player got 12 million views.
Maybe the kid knew what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Should Dion and Shador just shut up, Jimmy?
Yes, these are student athletes. They're young men. They're not professionals. Take the high road and keep it moving. I wouldn't respond to them at all, and especially if you didn't know the kid or you don't remember the kid, I wouldn't even respond. I think that's kind of petty.
I would agree. I think the comment that he got a 12 million views on a post about a kid who had 36 tackles in his career is probably, he should have he should have maybe just let that one slide.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just let it go. I mean, look. If I'm in that locker room, I'm watching this. I'm gonna be like, well, damn, how does he feel about me? Like, if
Yeah.
I'm not
Or do you
playing
want to
either,
go there? Do you want to go
that's
there and try to compete to know that you're going to get made fun of in front of 12 million
correct.
people if you aren't
That's what
very
I'm
good?
saying. Yeah, they just take the high road. It's not a good look for the long
But
term.
now, to be
And you're
fair,
better than that. You're bigger than that. You're Deion Sanders.
prime time.
Prime time.
We got to get a video of me high stepping, Jimmy.
Hey,
Not,
I'll take it. I want to see it too.
well, we did the video of you and me dunking, and that
Absolutely.
was,
That
well,
was
you
phenomenal.
dunking 30 years ago, me dunking 30 days ago, which
That
was
was fantastic.
maybe I need to do a parallel between me and Dion high
Locking somebody
stepping.
down.
I think I could do that.
Chapman Island.
That's it, Jimmy. That's the show, bro. It was that. It's like it's so quick, it's so
Already?
fast. Yeah, we're done. We had so much fun. We blew through. We talked about NBA playoffs. We talked about football. We talked about neon, Dion. We got it all. No rock today.
No
We're
rock.
gonna have no rock today. We're rock
With
free
that rock
today.
slide.
What final thoughts, Jimmy? What do you got?
Let's see. Today, Tyrese Maxey. They're going to have to open up the checkbook pretty soon. The 76ers, because that guy is special. And he's from Dallas.
I didn't know, where did he go to school, to high school here?
I believe so. I'm not sure what high school. I know some of his people. I ran into his family and some friends here. That's
But
how
they're
I know.
local.
I didn't know either until I ran into his family.
This is
And I
this
was
is
like, wow, I should have known that actually. I was
what, that he
kicking
was
myself.
from
I was like,
here?
duh, I should have known.
That he went to high school in Dallas? See, I didn't know that. I'm not surprised by that. There's some serious talent that comes out of this area, right?
Dallas is huge.
South Garland High School.
We're known for football, but we're all sports. You got a lot of baseball guys that come out of here. You got soccer guys that come out of here. You got cyclists that come out of here. It's a lot of athletes that come from.
Jimmy, he went to South Garland High School and
Yeah.
won their first ever Texas State high school basketball championship.
So
Did you win the championship for East Plano High, Jimmy?
no, I did not. But
here we go.
Plano East did win the championship this year. They're the first 6A 40-0 team in the
I think it was more than 40.
State of Texas.
I think. Hold on, I'm checking.
Yeah, they were 43-1, I believe, or 42-1. No, 43-1, I believe.
Wow. First undefeated team in the history of 6A basketball.
Yep, in the 6A group.
How does that even happen? They got to have some guys in there,
They
right?
got great coaching. Matt Wester is a great coach. They got great players who
You're
are
right,
very
40-0. They won 40 basketball games. That's incredible. Shout out to East Plano.
East. Plano
East.
East.
Well, Jimmy, my last word is about the Knicks. Did you hear this? The owner one of the owners for the Sixers, the Rubin, Michael Rubin, and some of the other fellow owners. Michael Rubin owns Fanatics. He didn't like how many Knicks fans there were the last time in Philadelphia. So do you know what he did? He bought more than 2,000 tickets to block the Knicks fans from showing up in the stadium. Now, I'm not opposed to this, Jimmy, because he did something good with them. He gave them to first responders, healthcare professionals, firemen, police in the Philadelphia area. So I think that's really cool. But let's be honest, he didn't do it for first responders. He did it because the Knicks fans were driving 60 minutes and filling up their arena.
Well, that's hey, when you're the owner, you can do what you want. You got access to the tickets. He beat the game. He beat the game. That's smart. That's smart. I don't blame him at all. If I was the owner and I was sitting up in my arena and the opponent team or fans were in there louder than or as loud as our guys or fans, yeah, I'll do the same thing. No question.
I think it's a clever move. Ballsy.
And also to like have first responders and give them a chance to come to the games. That's beautiful. Cool.
I really like that idea. It helps. I mean, look, you get some people to show up because let's be honest, those tickets to a playoff game, I don't know what they are in Philly, but I know what they are here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not, those are not cheap. And so giving those tickets to those first responders and giving them the opportunity and the experience is really cool. So shout out to the Philadelphia 76 owners for taking a disadvantage and turning it into a cool thing to help people out. That's it, Jimmy. Absolutely. That's our show. Thank you for joining the King and Chapman show, and we'll see you next time. Ready?
See you.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey.